Sam and Colby, YouTube's biggest ghost hunters. Welcome to Clickbaited. Today we're going to sit and look through a number of headlines involving your career.
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
Okay, let's take a look at our first headline.
YouTube star Sam Colby rescued after getting lost in Paris Catacombs. Oh, this was super recent. Oh my god. I would love to talk about this.
2 months ago.
This is like so hectic. Okay, so Paris Catacombs is something that we've been looking forward to for like 5 years, or like opposite of looking forward to, being scared of. I literally like have denied wanting to do this video for like 4 or 5 years purely because my biggest fear in life is claustrophobia. And the Paris Catacombs are 200 miles of underground tunnels in a labyrinth with no map of it. It's illegal to go down there. There's gangs that like fight people, and so many tour guides go down and leave American tourists or steal from American tourists and then just dip, and people like starve down there, they die down there, get lost. It's genuinely terrifying, not only to mention all the illegal scary side of it, but the fact that there are remains of 6 million dead bodies all around. So needless to say, it is one of the scariest places in the world to be.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in there? And, you know, as you said, were you right to be cautious about going in there?
This video is coming out for our Hell Week series in October. And we went with Drew Binsky, very big like travel influencer, and also our buddy Groovy Gavin, who is known as kind of like a monster hunter on YouTube. And they had, well, Groovy had been to the catacombs in the past, and so we thought he was like a perfect friend to bring along. And basically it was like one of the wildest entrances of a video that we've ever had. We started the video in broad daylight, morning, like right before lunchtime, and ran into a random busy street, found a pothole, manhole, lifted it up and crawled down while there was like 100 people on the sidewalk, all watching us do it. But our guide had told us that he's done this multiple times, and it was like a normal thing. Nobody's going to call the police. And so we trusted him, and it was one of the most physically taxing videos that we've ever experienced or been a part of. There was water that went up like as high as like our chests, and so we were completely soaked. We even had these like water waders like that you wear like fishing or whatever, to hopefully like prevent water coming down like into like our feet and stuff like that. And that didn't help because it got so high. And again, to Sam's point with the claustrophobia, there was multiple tiny holes you had to crawl through, and even like a part of a cave where you had to like army crawl half of like a football field's length to get to like one of these like bone rooms. And so again, not giving away like too much, we did run into somebody down there that wasn't part of our group. And yeah, I don't want to spoil what happens there, but it was a crazy experience.
We have no idea why we were there, so we're fully trusting this one random guide. The guide that was down there said that the last time he had actually gone to the catacombs was like over 6 months ago. You have no cell phone service. Every single turn looks the same. And so we're like, hey guys, we're going to be down there for this amount of time. And if it exceeds this amount of time, we are going to like you guys should start to get worried. And if it exceeds this amount of time, we're going to send out this like predetermined like tweet to try to like help save us, because like we're going to be worried, and we know if like a bunch of people in Paris probably know their way around the Paris catacombs. And then if it gets to like X amount of time, then we know we're like really screwed. And so we ended up like bringing enough food down there for like to be down there for 24 hours. We were planning originally to be down there way less, but yeah, it's all in the video. But we went in there, I think like 3 or 4 hours longer than we expected to be down there,
right?
Which was really, really terrifying, because that was at that threshold of like, please get help, because we don't know what we're doing. And again, we're not going to get like into everything about the video, but whatever we thought we were going to exit, there was no longer an exit. And so we had to like pivot down below where we had no map, we had no idea, and we were definitely on the verge of like really freaking out.
What was it like for you, Sam, being claustrophobic? I myself equally feel that pain. So what was it like for you down there, and how did you manage to kind of stop yourself from freaking out? Or did you just freak out?
Okay, the two worst things were, the first thing, the long army crawl for like, half a football field to a football field. It's a couple 100 feet. And that was terrifying because you were behind someone and then in front of somebody else, and you had to push your backpack ahead of yourself. And so literally, like if they stopped in front of you, you couldn't move. And you were just huddled up, army crawl position, like just waiting for someone to move. It was like serious, like cave diving videos, just like you see on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
That was deeply unsettling because it's like, okay, if I wanted to get out, I couldn't, So then that was the very first thing you had to do to get deep into the catacombs. So that was rough. But I think my biggest fear is not like, I guess, super, super small spaces. It's small spaces that I feel like there's no exit to. And so the first time and the second time we were like getting lost, that's when it really started hitting. And it was like when I started to see not only myself freak out, but my friends and then our guide freak out. That's when I was like, oh God, are we actually going to make out? Are we going to make it out? And I'm so glad that, that our friend didn't tell us this when we were down there. He waited till after, told us about a story of someone that he knew that was led down into the catacombs earlier and abandoned by his guide and stolen from. And so all he had was 10% phone battery life and then like a one bottle of water. And he was down there for hours and hours and hours before he was able to like find someone else that was down there, randomly found him, and then he left. And I'm like, that is literally my worst nightmare. And it almost happened to us.
Colby wouldn't give up on you like that, don't worry.
Yeah. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big deal for me.
It's amazing. I can't wait to see that video because I like you. I think you probably do the same as you kind of scare yourself by watching videos on TikTok of people climbing through like 8-inch gaps and just think, wow, I'd never do that. And then there you were doing
terrifying.
it. You were there with Drubinski, but he's not the only influencer that you guys collabed with. In fact, you guys collab with maybe more influencers than anyone else on YouTube. When you're getting people involved, do you have a kind of certain criteria? Is there certain people you might avoid because you think, oh, they're not really believing it? And what's it like working with influencers from your guys' perspective?
That's a really, really good question. Yeah, we're very, very protective over what we've built and our audience. 1000%. If there's somebody that just doesn't fit the right vibe that we don't think we would get along with on camera, and or they just have like a different audience than ours that we don't think would be a right fit, then we really have to strongly consider like finding somebody else. There have been multiple, without like saying specific names, celebrities and social media people that we have turned down to be on the channel because of that same thing. Like just knowing our audience, knowing like our demographic, and realizing that like there's some people that could be cool to have on the channel just because of their name, but it's not going to be a natural fit. Like we really care about like how genuine we come across to the fans.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like our channel is definitely about ghost hunting, but the reason why it's fun is because of the friend group. We ask ourselves a lot, if we wouldn't naturally go and like hang out with this person, if we wouldn't naturally become friends with this person, like with or without the YouTube video, do we really want them on the channel? Because if it doesn't come across as authentic and it comes across as like we're just having this celebrity on or whatever like that, just because of their name, like Colby said, then it's not going to come off good to our fans. And that's really what we care about. A lot of the times too, we'll just have like homies that like we've known either for 5+ years or like that we're friends from Kansas, like anything like that. Cause like at the end of the day, it's so much more fun to see a friend group that actually like cares about each other going through these experiences rather than just two people that were placed randomly together because of a mutual following.
Is there anyone that you'd really love to have? Like, is there anyone you'd like to announce now that you're like, I'd really, really love to work with this person?
It's a call out.
Oh man, I mean, if we're reaching for the moon here, it's like,
absolutely,
we're talking like perfect demographic matchup, and plus like, I honestly think we get like along in person, but somebody like a Billie Eilish would be insane. Like, oh, yeah. I know that's reaching for the moon, but like same sort of fan base, same sort of like alternative vibe in a way. I think it would be a really cool matchup.
Okay, Luke, bring up the next headline.
Nice.
Popular YouTubers Sam Colby arrested after trespassing for a video.
And I
Yeah.
believe this is actually the first Dexerto article we ever wrote about you as well. Do you want to talk us through this scenario and what happened?
So this was like the end of 2015, beginning of 2016. We realized that the Vine wasn't going to be a thing for much longer. So we started experimenting a bunch on YouTube. And basically fast forward a couple of months after a bunch of things like didn't go well, we were like, what is just our authentic passion? Like, what would we do off camera, on camera? Like, what are people going to like really enjoy seeing us do? Because we enjoy it. And that was exploring abandoned places. And we ended up exploring abandoned places for like 3 or 4 years. And that was really what started our YouTube career for sure. That was like, hey, we actually have something that is ours. Like we find so much enjoyment with it. Like it's really interesting. It's not really hurting anybody. We're not actually breaking any of these places, but technically it is illegal. Like it's trespassing. Whether or not we're injuring anything or like breaking anything, it's like we weren't, but just going on private property. We knew one day that we were going to get in trouble. We didn't know how much in trouble. So we ended up going to the school that was, I think, being constructed on. And so apparently in the state of Florida, if a government property is also under construction, it is considered a felony. And so instead of just, slap on the wrist or here's a ticket, it was like, oh, you're getting arrested if you're going to jail and that whole thing. So, what was really, really cool is our fans like did not care really like at all. Like in terms of like, oh, are you a bad person? They were just like, let me get out. Like, let's get Sam Colby out. I think the hashtag free Sam Colby was like #1 trending like worldwide for 24 hours. It was awesome. So I think in all honesty, it was one of the best things that could have happened to us. Obviously would not recommend getting arrested for anybody out there, but it was a really, really good thing to set us straight for sure.
Colby, I know that you're wearing a Justin Bieber t-shirt. Do you regret that?
I do regret that. That was also during my, I had like a blue hair phase at one point. I had like painted nails and I was like, this is probably the worst I could look like going into jail, especially in Florida for like 24 hours. But luckily my experience was not too horrible. We had both different experiences because we both had different charges. Both of us got trespassing, which, like Sam was said, was a felony in the state of Florida. But I also just stupidly had my fake IDs from when I was under 21 in my wallet still. And I was 22 at the time. So over a year, I didn't have to have those in my wallet at all. But I did. And what made it even worse is they were fake IDs of my name in the state of Florida.
Oh, right. Oh, even worse. Yeah, that
So,
is worse.
I got 3 felonies, and they were like, "You can't leave as fast as Sam." So basically, Sam was able to like bail himself out, but I wasn't, and I was in there for like 24 hours. And all I remember is leaving the jail and the deputy saying like, "Are you Mr. Bruck?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was just like, "We've had thousands of little girls call this jail to try to bail you out." And when I left, there was even like a group of fans waiting for me at the front. I got my phone, had like a million missed calls. Sam had like, I immediately called Sam, like one of the fans there like gave me a charger. And Sam was like, we've been worldwide trending. Like it was a huge moment. Like the hashtag free Sam Colby was so viral that, like, again, not recommending getting arrested, obviously, but it was such a big moment that like it took our videos from a number perspective, just so you guys know, we were getting like 800K, 700K per like abandoned video. And then our first haunted video coming back, which was obviously legal, like a month or two later, got like 2 million views. So it quite literally like over doubled our viewership. And so again, it was good for the career. Good for our path and stuff, but wouldn't recommend getting arrested.
I think what's amazing and what I credit to you guys is you have moments where you are down and it could be perceived as out, but you guys learn from it and take it and kind of go to the next level. Has that always been your mindset?
Yeah, we like live a little bit in paranoia, but like I think living in paranoia and then having pretty much always just really embodied this idea of life as a game and it's beatable has really helped us a lot. It's like when we are down, it isn't like, oh, let's go retire. It's like, oh, this is just the next challenge. Let's figure out a way around it. Or, oh, I know Vine's about to die. Or, oh, I know we can't do abandoned exploration anymore. Or, oh, like, we can't travel because it's the pandemic or something like that. Like, how do we keep switching content and like, pushing things around so that like we can, change things up, keep things fresh, but then also like have your next move in your career.
I think what's fascinating about you guys is I've mentioned you to a lot of what we'd call normies, people outside of the internet that spend all day on the internet like ourselves. How's that impacted you making content? And, is there sometimes you're like in a place and they're like, spot you and then things change because they know who you are?
I mean, it's just been a journey for us because like, again, we've been doing this for over 10 years now, maybe like 11, 12, something like that. I think 11 now, which is insane to process. But each year it's just been getting crazier and crazier in terms of like fan interactions and fan love and stuff like that. And so even we're both 28 now, like even right now, we would consider ourselves like in our prime in terms of like fans and who recognizes us and stuff like that. Like, for example, we just 2 days ago got done meeting 5,013 fans at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. And that was just us promoting it on Instagram stories. And so like, it used to not be like as hectic as it is now. Luckily our fans, like they're very, very sweet and they know that like if we are filming, they will leave us alone. But there's been multiple times where like we will be in like a random state to shoot a haunted place and even just go to like a Panera down the street and like a worker there recognizes us, takes one picture with us, and then it spreads around the town. And then everybody just looks up haunted places in the town. And then you have 100 people at the haunted place when you show up. And so we've been learning how to move like a little bit more like low key. But at the same time, like Sam and I have never, ever, ever been the type of people to turn down a picture. And so, yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy journey. And obviously more subscribers just means more fan love. And we're very, very grateful for it, but also keep things secret because we know when we need to work, like we need to work. Absolutely. We don't let that stop us.
Just to go back to one thing you said before, Sam, but you live in a state of paranoia. What do you mean by that?
So pretty much ever since we started, it was like, at least for me, Colby's a little bit more optimistic than me, which I think is like a really good balance between the two. But I live in this state of like, okay, like if we don't make the next move, we're going to fall off. Like if we don't like beat everybody to the next platform, we're going to fall off. Like what's the next move always? And if we're staying stagnant, that means we're failing. Like it's pretty much either always improving or like shit's about to hit the fan. And so it's a little bit pessimistic, I would say, but that has always kept us on the edge of like change and innovation, which I think has led to a lot of success in the past. So it's like, okay, you have a good thing going, don't just settle. You have a good thing going, okay, now build on top of that. Oh, you have this area, well, if that's your only source of, change and content or whatever, create something new. Okay. And then once you have two, create another one. So you have 3 prongs of content, 3 prongs of, income and things like that, making sure that you're always going to be safe if one of those dies out. Because I think we learned that from Vine, like don't have all of your eggs in one basket, diversify of that because Vine might die, or like maybe one day people just really don't want to watch XYZ style content, like 6-second videos. How can we make sure that we have short form on one side, medium form, and then also an hour and a half long stuff, So we're innovating and trying to always like make sure that, we're good no matter what. And this paranoia has led to most of that just constant. We need to improve. We need to change. We need to be on the cusp of whatever's new.
Does that ever cause tension between you guys?
No, because I think we both need each other when we have those thoughts. Like, there's been multiple times, like Sam was saying, where like it does get very overwhelming, and we kind of, sit back and we think like, could this potentially be the end? And I think like, because we are a duo, when I can tell Sam's like in those certain types of moods, like I'll be there to pick him up, and then vice versa. And so obviously we've been friends for over a decade. Is there tension sometimes? Of course. Do we argue? Yes, but we're also like very, very well, like we're good at like handling arguments to where we'll just say what's on our mind, and we've learned how to communicate like a married couple to where like if there's an issue, we just put it out on the table, talk about it, and then move on.
When it comes to ghost hunting, when it comes to all these different ideas, you guys have done so many different ones. One of the first things I wanted to talk about when it comes to your ghost hunting content is that you guys actually create content in a very different way to most people. So we both know MrBeast, right? And the whole MrBeastification of content that people throw around, which over the years, as you can see, has changed. But with you guys, you upload consistently extremely long videos. It's not super fast paced when you start. You often sit down and kind of talk to the audience and get their buy-in on it. Is that an intentional thing that you guys do? Do you intentionally make the videos longer, or do you feel like it's just that's the amount of content you have?
It's interesting that you bring up MrBeastification specifically, because I feel like that was just a giant movement for everybody on the platform. Like MrBeast came along, started making super TikTok style like videos, fast serotonin hits like every 2 seconds, and everybody went and followed the leader basically. And I think Sam and I could see that, and we knew that if we just stayed true to ourselves while also like implementing some of the MrBeastification, but through longer videos, that we would be different. And because we've been doing this for over a decade, the people that we have seen who have been the longest lasting and the biggest, that never like fizzle out, are the people that like innovate something new and are just like authentically themselves. And so, yeah, for like our intros and for the first 10 minutes of our videos, it is kind of like a MrBeast video where we're just like, we're here, we're doing this, let's get inside, let's go. But then we have really also learned to like pull back and be ourselves, because that's what makes us Sam Colby, and not like some crazy, like everybody trying to like copy this MrBeast format.
Like you don't know people if you cut too quickly. Like if you're just trying to get to the action, you don't actually know who the person talking is, So if you spend a full hour, maybe sometimes an hour and a half with me and Colby, you feel like you really get to know us, and you can really judge, do I like them? Do I like their content, or do I like both? And I think it gives like the viewer a really, really good opportunity to like understand us as humans, as opposed to just these random creators on a screen doing said action. And then also to Colby's point, it's also just way easier to stand out. Like imagine if you had like 10 million other videos that are all uploaded that are between 8 and 12 minutes, but you have like 6 videos that are an hour and a half long that same day that are an hour and a half long. You have way less competition. Thus, it's so much easier if you can just make the best content out of those 6 videos to literally have that entire audience of anybody that wants longer form content. So, like, to be honest, even though like the more people were going short form, the more we were like anti that, because it was like, okay, the bell curve is moving that way. It's so much easier to be the 1 in a million if you aren't like that. So we've never posted shorts on our main channel. We like hardly ever do TikTok. Like it's like we want to be those guys because, yeah, like you said, Mike, like when you think of us, you're like, oh, they're the long form guys. They're not just like every other creator. So we have like the slight like unique factor.
So let's talk a little bit about ghosts. Now, I want to preface by saying, and I'm sure many people tell you this, I don't not believe in ghosts. I just haven't witnessed any yet, or not that I'm aware of. What would you say to a skeptic like myself who doesn't quite believe, or just hasn't seen anything to believe it yet?
I would say to you that I was in the same exact spot. Like, I actually might even go as far as to say I was a full-on skeptic. Like, I didn't believe in religion, and I was like very, very iffy if it was even possible to have any sort of like haunting thing, other energy in the world. And so when we first started ghost hunting, it was purely for like entertainment purposes until it started actually happening. But I tell this to a lot of people that question me and like all my experiences, that even when we have an experience, there's so many times that something will happen to us, and 6 months later, me and Colby look at each other like, did that actually happen? Or
Right.
am I just like misremembering? Or did I just like think that I was like super scared in that moment? And so I think it's so justified when people say, "Oh, I'm skeptical," or like, "How do you believe it?" Or like, like, why do you guys keep doing this? And the main reason why we keep doing this is because for us, it's like, yeah, we can have the craziest experience of our lives, but then like 6 months later, we might be like, that was 6 months ago. I'm misremembering. It's not perfect. But if we're having experience after experience after experience after experience, it's undeniable. And I think other people like that as well. So when you get a video every single month of you showing, oh, well, that was crazy. Oh, well, they got that too. That's crazy. It's actually really helpful for people to see experience after experience for them to believe as well. And like at the end of the day, like obviously we are an entertainment channel. Like we're just trying to like make people have a good time. But there's a lot of people and a lot of fans that we see in ourselves. It's like, oh, there was a time when I specifically didn't believe in religion, and I definitely didn't believe in ghosts. Me and Colby were both pretty skeptical of this stuff until we had a reason to believe. And we would love to be that reason that people believe, because I think that's extremely hopeful. And I think it's really, really cool to go about life questioning things, like, oh, what if there is something else out there? What if there's more? Does that help you in your own life? Does that help you think about life a little deeper? Does that give you hope? And if we can be that person that puts out a YouTube video that not only entertains, but could quite possibly give somebody that was just like us a little more hope, then that's pretty beautiful.
You guys scared of ghosts?
We definitely.
Let's say, I think it depends. Some ghosts are like, it's nice, but then like there's sometimes like there's been multiple like videos that just force me into tears. It's like so scary.
Yeah, you ever like walking up to a big scary house and you're like, fucking hell, not again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we've been doing this like seriously for 6 years now. Obviously, we've been ghost hunting longer than that in general, but like as a career, 6 years. And I thought we would get jaded over time with it, and like it would get harder and harder like as we go or whatever to like be excited. But it's never changed. Like every single time, like we're going to like a new ghost hunt and having a new experience. I think it's because like the lore of each of these spots are so different. And obviously like the locations themselves look so vastly different than other places that we've investigated. It's always a new like adventure and journey. And personally speaking, I'm usually pretty freaked out every single time.
Well, talking of you know the different locations, we've got a little game that we want to play with you now, where we want to test your knowledge on ghost hunting spots. So we'll give you like a clue, and you've got to guess the location that's based on. Okay.
All right. So the ghostly twins spotted in hotel corridor. Stanley Hotel, easy.
For sure. Kentucky hospital shuts down after more than 8,000 deaths in 50 years. Kentucky.
Waverly Hills.
Is that Waverly? Yeah, Waverly Hills.
Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Correct.
Let's go.
Reported death in Ukrainian labyrinth accused of being a hoax. The Ukrainian
Catacombs? Odessa Catacombs for sure.
Correct. You guys know.
Nice. Haunted Rhode Island.
We should have made these harder.
Closed to the public. Oh, that's got to be Conjuring for sure. Which is really sad that it's closed to the public. That's like one of the coolest places in the world.
More than 20 spirits are said to haunt this British guest house. Is this the it's the one with Tommy in it, Sam? What's that one called? What Inn?
Oh. Is that Ancient Ram Inn?
Ancient Ram Inn. Yeah!
Hey! Good call. Nice. Good call. Inside the hospital cemetery with over 15,000 bodies.
Fairfield County Infirmary.
Dang! Let's go. Castle groundskeeper confirms multiple disappearances, but no signs of bodies.
Oh, what?
Ooh. I don't know.
Is this
that Chillingham?
Is it? Oh, Wilson. Okay.
Dang. Small town known for miracle water. Reports paranormal activity in hotel. That's Mineral Springs Hotel.
Nice.
Shadowy figure reported haunting 16th century British home. Oh, man. Is that the Shadow Man Manor?
Well, yeah, what was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Irish novelist says unpublished Gothic works were lost in fire on her estate. Unpublished Gothic works were lost in the fire. So what Irish place burnt down? Was that what was the one that we nicknamed the Bloody Castle? You know, the one in the UK.
I have no idea what that one's called, but I know what you're talking about.
That's the
Yeah.
answer.
We might have
I
to
don't
pass on
know.
this one. This one's hard.
Ah, it was.
Castle. Okay.
That's what I was thinking of, but we've called it Bloody Castle, not Leap Castle or Leap.
And that's the answer. You only got 2 wrong. I will give you the last one. You were close.
All
So
right, 1.5 wrong. How about
1.5 wrong. That's decent. That's a decent performance. You guys, we can confirm you're legit ghost people. Okay, let's move on to the next headline.
It says the Kansas City Star on Vine Overland Park teens are creating quite a scene with their short videos. Is this like our first article ever?
That is your first article ever that we could find online. What year and month can you guess this?
I would say this is 2014.
Okay.
Shoot, I would say like in June or July of 2014.
Well, you're close. June 2015. So we'll give you half. If there was points, we'd give you half a point for that. But
okay, so close.
So close. Do you remember when this article came out, and what were your reactions when it did? Because it paints you as pretty big superstars, even back in the Vine days.
I do remember this. I mean, we are from Overland Park, Kansas, and so the Kansas City Star is a massive thing around. Everyone always talked about it, especially back in the day when newspapers were still a thing. So it was really exciting to be part of this Kansas City Star. I think I still have this copy of the newspaper in my closet from when it first came out.
Oh, so you actually had a physical copy as well?
Yeah. It was awesome. And what was even like more funny about this is when we first started our Vine career, we were like, how do we get followers? And so we went around to the Kansas City Star offices downtown and like put a poster of ourselves, like our Vine, like follow us on Vine, Sam Colby, follow us on Vine, Sam Colby, like all around their offices, all around downtown. And so, fast forward 1 year, a year and a half, I guess, getting in the Kansas City Star was like really special.
So it talks a lot about your kind of introduction to each other. Could you give a bit of an intro to you guys in terms of how you met each other and how you got involved in content creation?
Yeah, I mean, long story short, we met in high school, and we have one of those like cliche kind of strange stories where we met in band camp. And so, yeah, Sam and I were very, very shy kids and bonded over the fact that we were shy. And became friends when we were 14, 15 during the summer doing band camp. And after we became confident, learning that both Sam and I couldn't talk to anybody. But once we bonded over that fact, we really did become best friends. And we decided hey, we only live once. And our 15-year-old minds were like, why not get famous? Let's try to get social media followers, and we set out to do that at 15, 16 years old.
So starting out with Vine then, you guys were pretty popular, as this article kind of talks about. What was your kind of style on Vine? It was less paranormal, it was more pranky and jokey, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of public disturbance, and a lot of challenge based type of stuff, and just funny things that we thought would be interesting pranks. So when we first met, our friendship, we bonded over the fact that because we were so shy, we found a really good kick out of challenging each other to do crazy stuff. Hey Colby, run up to that person and say this, or hey Sam, go jump on that table. And then so when we were thinking about go jump on that table in the middle of a food court or something. And so when we were thinking about what to do on Vine, we're just let's just do all the challenges and all the crazy public stunts that we would be doing pretty much anyway. And then soon we realized that this is not really the career path that we wanted. And we slowly started changing over, and we're okay, instead of pranks and public disturbance, how can we become, kind of the way that we are now?
Yeah, and to second that a little bit, I don't think a lot of people know this about our story and how we started, but I was a personal YouTube fan already in high school when I was 15, 16. Sam really wasn't. And I remember telling him one day, again, after we gained confidence and stuff like that, where I was just hey, I'm watching these certain people online. why can't we be like them? Like we learned how to be confident and like talk to people like in our school and at like our local like mall and stuff, but why can't we take this a next step further and become like these people that I'm watching online? And that's really what like motivated us to start the journey. And yeah, it was a lot of people think that we were just like making random videos and then one popped off one day, luckily. But it was all planned from the beginning. Like we had a whiteboard out on our wall where we were like had 0 followers, but we knew like an exact like roadmap plan of how much we wanted to post and who we wanted to collab with eventually. And yeah, it was really like a meticulous like set out plan from day one when we were like 16 years old.
You guys mentioned in this article, the Kansas City Star, that you, because of your Vine, you'd already started to get recognized in school. You'd already started getting recognized by other people. How did it feel going from the Bandcamp guys to suddenly becoming, you know, very popular? And was the reaction negative, positive? How was that perceived?
What was really interesting is everybody in the Kansas City metropolitan area, like around our age, so like high school kids, besides our own high school, like loved us. And so we would go to the mall where like there would be a bunch of different like high school kids from all over Kansas City. And it was such like a crazy, I guess, crazy difference of us being super shy just like a year or two ago to now getting like random pictures from kids our age that we didn't even know. And so it was definitely like a really like validating, like awesome feeling. But yeah, again, like I said, in our own high school, nobody really cared because they already knew that we were these band kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's interesting because we never got like accepted where we were trying to get accepted, which was by our own peers in our own high school. But again, we took like the love from everybody else in all the other high schools. And also we were going on like tour at the time as well, like at 17, 18. So we knew we were doing something right. And we used that as motivation to continue our careers.
Well, I guess because, you know, if you think back when you guys started out, even when Dexerto was first starting out, it was still pretty uncool to be a YouTuber or to create content. You know, now I've got a 7-year-old little girl and she pretends to make YouTube videos into my phone, and it's like, you know, I've not taught her any of that. That's just purely from stuff she's learned from being online and being around her friends and stuff. So have you seen that as well, that the perception of content creation has changed massively over the years?
1,000,000%. Like it's crazy. To your exact point, like in high school, it was not cool at all. It was actually very weird to do that. So us like taking selfies and posting it on Instagram was not a cool thing to do. Like people were laughing at us in the hallways. Actually, like, and to go back to like Sam's point too, really quick, like there was even like a meme that got spread around the school at one point. Because what Sam and I would do is during the lunch breaks, we would spend that time in the 20 or 30 minutes that we had to like come up with the Vine idea that we were going to be making that day, because we posted every single day. And so we would always just sit alone at lunch. And there was one day where somebody took a picture of us and created like a meme template where it said like 300K or like 500,000 followers on Vine, still sits alone at lunch. And it got spread to the entire school. And there'd be like teachers and stuff like making fun of us. Like it was like we had like tough skin. So like we would, it wasn't really like sad. We like made a joke out of it, but at the same time, like looking back in retrospect, it's crazy to me that like there was grown adults even doing that to us when we were only like 16, 17 years old. I feel like TikTok was really the first time in the whole social media world and ecosystem where just regular people, because of the algorithm, could like get noticed. And so there was a lot of people that started to have like, you know, 20K, 30K, whatever, how many followers like in high school. And it was way less special, I guess you could say. But back when Vine was a thing and YouTube, it was a lot more rare. There was only like a select few amount of creators out there. And so like if you could make it past, I guess like, yeah, just like the algorithms and stuff of like the old social media companies and stuff like that, like you were like in it. But now TikTok has made it so normal for any person to get followers, no matter like who you are, how old you are, or anything like that. And I think it's like way like more wanted now because it's like easier, if that makes sense.
When I was doing research for this as well, I was looking back at some of your earlier videos. And one thing that really interested me, the comment that you made was that you see life as a game. Do you guys still treat life and your career as a game?
Yeah, I think that was our mindset after we met each other. Like we realized that we were cut out to be the Midwestern Kansas kids, do the 9 to 5, do college, like that stuff. Very middle class vibe. And that's like kind of like what you're set in stone to do, unless you treated it like something like, and a lot of the time what we say is not only life is a game, but life is a game and it is beatable. Like games are beatable. Like you can game the system, you can do certain things, you can become the 1%, like if you try hard enough and if you play it right. And obviously with a lot of luck involved, if, like some people make it no matter what, but if you work really, really hard, you can beat said game. And so that's kind of like how we thought about it. And if something would like not go well for us, we'd be like, oh, well, maybe this is just like a really hard level. All right, we'll just try 10 times harder than all the people around us, and we're going to have to win eventually. And so it's been really fun to tackle life that way, because it allows you to not think of life in an unfair way of like, oh, the world is against me. It's more like, oh, well, the world's against everybody. You just got to beat it, because that's what makes it fun. It's like if life wasn't challenging, it wouldn't be interesting. So we're just kind of look at every little thing as a challenge. Like, okay, well, the next game is how to get to 1 million followers. Okay, the next game is how do 2 Kansas kids tackle LA. All right, the next game is, how do we switch from Vine over to YouTube and literally rewire the whole game that we're playing? So it just made each challenge more interesting and made it seem less pessimistic.
When it comes to ghost hunting, then where does that fall within the game?
That's interesting. The reason we started ghost hunting is because it was a time when we genuinely were looking for like, what are we going to have the most fun with? It's like we could do a bunch of different types of content, but with ghost hunting, with exploring abandoned places, these are things that like we had an interest in when we first met. Like our friend group in Kansas, there's nothing to do. And so we go out and explore abandoned places, or we challenge each other to go in like haunted houses and stay overnight in like these like creepy, like abandoned buildings. And like, oh, this lore here, this ghost here. And it was like really, really fun. And then we were like, okay, we not necessarily believe in this stuff, but when we started going to these really haunted places, things started happening, one after the other. And then we had such a crazy experience one time that we realized, oh, wait, all this stuff could be real. That is so interesting. Imagine this game we've been playing, that it isn't just humans. There's this whole other side. There's this whole unexplored thing. Imagine 2 kids from Kansas are able to go out and prove the paranormal to people. Now that is an interesting twist to this game of life. So we're like, let's triple down on this. Like, instead of doing all the other stuff, all the exploration, all the more personality videos, let's just like go into this thing that we're like super interested in, that would quite frankly like change the game entirely if we were able to actually prove this stuff is real. And it was just a genuine interest.
Yeah, that's the main thing I was going to say too, is that the fans could tell that we were like genuinely having fun going to these abandoned places or spooky places. And like Sam said, like that's what we did at 15, 16, 17 years old on the weekends, because Kansas had literally nothing but the local mall and like schools and stuff like that. There'd be a bunch of like run down, decrepit, abandoned places that you would go and shoot off fireworks at, or like hang out with like a big group of kids. It's like your party area. And we would do that like pretty much every single month, if not like every single weekend. And so once we were like kind of struggling, like figuring out what exactly we wanted to do on YouTube after Vine was dying, we were like, why don't we just like film the stuff that we used to do genuinely and have fun with like in high school? And our viewers could tell that we were having so much fun and being so authentically ourselves doing that sort of content that it was way more shareable and genuine.
One thing that you have talked about in the past, but we want to bring up again, is the Sam Pepper controversy, where you guys did a prank. And now, was that still within your prank days, or had you moved on to ghost hunting by that point?
That was definitely in the prank days. The main reason why that whole thing happened is because we were known as the Vine prankster people, and he was at the time like a YouTube prankster.
So yeah, to give context on Sam Pepper, he was once upon a time very popular influencer. He's not quite highly regarded as he once was, shall we say. But I think the main thing, the reason I want to talk about this thing, Sam, is because your acting ability during it. Now, to give context again to people listening, you guys essentially, there was a fake prank where you essentially killed Colby by Sam Pepper, and Sam, you kind of had to sit and watch essentially. Everyone, even now, I looked at some comments from previous videos you've done recently, and again, they still think that you kind of thought it was real Sam. So, I mean, number one, commending you on that acting performance, but number two, I mean, have you thought about going into acting since, considering your performance there?
No, it's so funny. I still get that today too, because that's like the only time that I've ever been able to like act in anything. Like we actually, after that, we were like, hey, maybe we can like do movies or something. We tried acting classes for like, a couple months, or maybe even just like a month or so. And literally, my acting coach looked me in the eye and was like, yeah, some people need to be an audience, like it literally was rough. I don't know. It was funny. Colby says the same thing. He's like, dude, what did you just like strike magic in a bottle, or did like God just give you like one day of good acting because we needed this thing? But it's funny. We have a lot of like skits and things that we've been a part of since then. And a lot of our fans just roast us for how bad we are acting since. But I think it was really, really cool that maybe it was because it was so near and dear to my heart that like I could get myself to envision that, Colby in the prank was dead in front of me. And so like me being able to envision something so personal to me, maybe that was like the only reason why I could act like that.
Well, and also like, just to add on to that, like, going back to when we knew Vine was dying, like, this, I remember, was something that we were like, this is our big break. Like, I'm not sure how many subscribers we had, but it was somewhere between like 100 to like 300K back in the day. And we actually met Sam Pepper by just like walking around in like a public, I think it was like in Santa Monica or something like that. We saw him. And because I was a YouTube kid, like naturally, I was just like, that's Sam Pepper. Like, he's a huge prankster guy, and that's the content that we make. And so we actually went up to him in public and introduced ourselves and said, hey, like, we just like moved out here. This is what we do. Showed him some of our videos. He was actually a super nice guy. Took down his number. And then I remember getting on a call with him like that same week and just all brainstorming, like, what can we do to break the internet? Like, what can we do that is so crazy and is on the line of like insanity that like will get everybody talking about it? And Sam and I, like, off the call, were just like, this, like, Vine is dying. Like, this is our moment. We have to like go like big and beyond. Like, and so we just knew that this was our chance. This was our moment. I think Sam was just able to like harness all of that energy and like just do a top tier 10 out of 10 performance. And it worked. Like, it got on all news stations around like the entire US. And obviously now in retrospect, like, are we proud of that video? Not at all. But like, do we regret it? At the same time, no, because it got us, I think, 100 or 200K more subscribers almost instantly because of how much press that it got. And Sam and I didn't really get like a lot of the flack for it because it wasn't even on our channel. And so like, we just got the followers. We were involved with something crazy viral. And then we were kind of able to just like take that momentum for our own careers and not have to deal with like backlash, which is bad to say, but that's how it happened.
But like, I think what it did was it taught us like a lot about like the public appearance and like how much that does like affect people. Because after that, we were like, all right, we can never do this stuff again. Like, we never want to do this. We want to get away from pranks. We want to get away from this persona, because we saw what happened to Sam Pepper and his career ended. And we're like, luckily, like, we didn't catch the flack. But if that was, then we'd be moving back to Kansas. So although it was like really, really good for our social media, I think it was really, really good for our mindset as well, to be like, okay, this obviously was viral, but we did what we wanted to do with the prank side of things. If we want a long career, we need to stop pissing people off, and we need to start being the people that we actually want to be for like the long career.
To end this, what's a headline that you'd like to see in the future when you come back on the show?
I mean, hopefully something about the videos that we have coming out for Hell Week, but we can't give away anything that we did. Let's just say that our finale of Hell Week is absolutely insane, and we were the first to investigate a very, very popular spot And I would hope that it makes a big enough wave to where you guys hear about it.
Sam and Colby, thanks for taking the time to do Clickbaited. Make sure you like and subscribe.
That was good.
Awesome.
Amazing.